Well, well, well. We have come to the end of an insane, strange, and honestly somewhat hellish journey. So, to close out tech writing and to just kind of sort of put a nice, pretty bow on everything, I want to talk about why this content matters, even beyond the workplace that it's kind of designed for. Tech writing takes a lot of the soul out of stuff. In universalizing things, removes the particulars out of it that makes it something you would even want to connect with in the first place, right? That's kind of a symptom of the writing itself and what it's designed to do. That's why one of the things that I really try to inject into this material is kind of the craziness and the kookiness of it, because otherwise, writing in a technical writing course is going to be pulling teeth. Now, again, for the most part, this class is designed to help you figure out what it is you should do in a professional environment, and how you format all sorts of very formal templates and how you put together writing for public use to be navigable and accessible. Well, I think the most important use of tech writing that I've experienced in my life, and this is what I want to leave off on, is the creation of a personal brand. This is something that I tried to superimpose on top of this as well. So often we use social media for kind of pointless, vapid things that end up getting us into more trouble than actually giving us stuff that we can be constructive with. We end up in pictures that we would rather our employers not see. We create an image for ourselves that is combative, in order to generate follows, in order to generate views. It doesn't have to be this way, but it kind of flows that way more often than not, partly because we don't teach the proper constructive use of social media. Now, for the longest time, social media was something that I used in a very similar fashion. And to be fair, I still get into a lot of stupid fights on Facebook, right? It's part of my nature. I can be very combative about things. One of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody is talking about stuff that they just don't understand. And I'll get into a fight with you real quick on that purpose. I have things that I try to work on too. But in the financial crisis that occurred a few years ago, and which is kind of ongoing at the time of this video, because it seems that financial crises are not something that happens once in a lifetime. They come around, seem like kind of regularly, about every 10 years now. There was a time where I was worried that I might not have a position like this. That is a source of great stress for me, because as someone who has diabetes, health insurance is extremely important, right? I don't know what on earth I would do without a full-time job that gives me my health insurance. So, of course, for most people, the threat of losing the job means, or the actual loss of a job, means that you jump onto the job search, you start filling out resumes, you start doing all that cliched stuff that people do when they absolutely need to find that job to replace their income. But I realized there's a lot of stuff you can do in the interim that might be more important than just finding that next full-time gig. Now, identifying your skills and identifying the things that you can market yourself to build a personal brand can provide you a kind of lifeboat. Now, depending on what your skills are, and this is one of those things you should actually devote some time into thinking about. Most people don't think about their marketable skills. Most people settle into their position, their job, and they sit there, and that's just kind of where they kind of nest up, right? But I thought long and hard, and I realized I'm an English teacher. I've been an English teacher for more than 10 years at this point. The thing that I can market immediately is my skills as an editor. And so as a big experiment over the course of about a year, I threw myself into the freelance editing gig. And I have to say, that paid really well. But working as a freelancer is not something I was really educated on. I went onto LinkedIn. Now, a lot of people use LinkedIn to try to find jobs, which that's kind of what it's designed to do. But for me, LinkedIn became a place that I could learn the terminologies for a new industry that I wanted to break into. Using the things that I learned in the discussion groups on LinkedIn, and not just going and posting your resume and looking for jobs, but actually participating in the discussion groups for my profession, for other freelance editors. I learned how exactly they price themselves, where they go to market themselves, and I found 2 clients. And I edited their books, and I got credits in those books. They paid very well, too. I could theoretically make more money as a freelance editor than I could as a teacher. So why don't I go to freelance editing? Health insurance, right? That health insurance dictates where I stay, even though it would be more lucrative potentially to go find those freelance editing clients. Now, what's important here, though, is if the world ever burns down, like, and when I say that, I mean, there's not going to be a lot of freelance editing positions if there's like zombies eating each other, right? But if my world ever burns down and they cut English positions and I end up, unemployed, I have something I can do besides just desperately searching for a new job. I can go into editing. I can get a paycheck coming back in the door. Now, it's not going to be this as steady as a full-time paying job, but that's a paycheck. And the paycheck that's the thing that, determines your survival in the interim. Freelance editing also was a very positive networking activity for me. My appearance and my profile on LinkedIn was active. I was doing things. I was talking to people. When you're interacting with people in that way, it's a lot more likely that you're going to come across a job that you might know someone who connects you with it. Do you see the difference here? Now, all of a sudden, I turned my social media accounts into a very active part of my professional life. It was working for me as opposed to working against me because of some embarrassing pictures I posted at some point. We don't teach this. We need to teach this. And I need to make it more of a solid part of my curriculum. We experimented with it a little bit, but this is just so gosh darn important that this is kind of the future of job seeking as well. The idea of blanketing a city with your resumes in order to try to find a job, that is extremely outdated. That's going the way of the dinosaur. The way I behaved when I was experimenting with that freelance editing gig, that's more the wave of the future. And you have something you can immediately throw yourself into rather than just stooping right down into a depression, right? But in order to do something like that, you have to have that professional, universal writing acumen in order to move around and operate in that new world. The skills that I've taught you in this class could be extremely useful at some point. It's like when the world ends, this is stuff you could theoretically pull out and build a new life with very quickly. I can't even begin to explain how useful that could be. Now, technical writing, I think, has tried to introduce these concepts to you. I'm hoping that you picked up on that just a little bit. This boring form of writing could be extremely important later. So keep your eyes open and try to look at your social media interaction as something that could have very real consequences for you one day and also real benefits. Now, we are moving into the final exam period. We're moving into turning in the final assignment with the policies and procedures manual. I've written the guidelines for that instruction for that assignment. I'm not posting any more videos. This is the final video. I will be in the discussion forums. I will be watching my email, and I'm going to be trying to help everywhere that I can. So focus all of your energy on fixing, revising, and interacting. I'm going to go into the discussion forums just to check, make sure you're doing your textbook questions. Final discussion question, and this will really beef up your presentation, your participation grades. I want you to tell me what you think the most important thing is in this class that you've learned, and tell me why. So the final exam will be posted Wednesday. I'm going to open it Wednesday morning. It is going to stay up probably till Thursday afternoon. It's going to be very quantitative. It's going to be short answer. It's going to require you to think about things in your own words, to describe things that you've seen, use terms that are introduced in the textbook. It should be relatively easy. I'm not looking to hit you in the head with a baseball bat here. So, but we are very close to the end. I'm going to try to start doing this thing I told you about with verifying identities, but I'm not going to get into that here. It's not really a big deal. But in any case, I have enjoyed teaching this class. I'm excited to read the final products, and I hope you guys take a little bit of wisdom from this. Otherwise, I'm not planning on doing any more videos unless Godzilla himself attacks and I need to address something. So hope you guys have a great day, and happy writing.